Yeah, I started writing scripts when I was about 15 years old. I actually wrote my first script when I was meant to be doing my GCSEs, but I realised that I wasn't going to get any GCSEs, so I decided to just write a script instead. And then I walked out of school when I was 15, and then I just fell in love with writing stories, and it progressed from there. And then, you know, I'm 37 tomorrow actually, and I've written about 15 scripts now, I think, maybe through my life. And I've got loads of ideas for different stories or TV shows that I'm always writing. I think I always wanted to be in film, but I got in Blue when I was like 16 years old, so that changed my life dramatically. I actually, before I was meant to go to LA to work with a friend of mine, and I was going to go on set and just make tea and just be a production assistant or whatever, you know, a runner. And then the phone rang, and the boys, I think it was Duncan, rung me up and said, "Do you want to come and join this band?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to go and do my film stuff." But I ended up going for the audition, and the rest was history, and it was amazing. But then, you know, I've always had that fire inside of me to go forward and try and do some film stuff. And I think through Blue, I wrote a lot of scripts. I was always sat on the plane writing scripts, or sat on a tour bus writing scripts, and because I loved it. And now post that time, I'm actually getting to the point where I'm actually now just about to make my first feature, and I'm really excited, and I think it's a new path in my career, and which I've always wanted to take. And I know it's a hard thing, because like when you come from being like in a band and stuff, and people know Blue and they know me, my name and stuff like that, they kind of go, well, why would you do that? And it's almost like a harder door to burst through, because people have preconceptions of who you are, especially because I grew up in the industry. You know, I've made my kind of youthful mistakes that we all make in the public eye. And unfortunately, sometimes that mud sticks, and people have a preconception because of that, which is totally understandable. But when you're getting into film and you're trying to cross lanes, it's sometimes kind of people kind of they can't process it. They're like, "What? You're a singer, you're in a band. What are you doing trying to be a film director or writing scripts and producing movies?" They kind of think that you've got no right to be there. But oh, hello, mate. Meg, where you going, Meg? That's all right.
Bye, Meg.
See you later, Meg. What experience it? So far, I mean, when I was in Blue, I started making films for. Yeah, I started my first ever. I did my first ever film course at the NYU. So all the boys went off and did I think we got work to the bone, and we got like 2 or 3 months off, and the boys were like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "I'm going to go and do a film course in New York." And I did a Tisch course and learned how to splice 8mm, and literally learnt from the you know, the ground up how to, you know, film, splice together, do the sound, which is totally irrelevant these days because people do, like, it's all on digital. But it was just a great experience to actually learn something that was so truly authentic to film. And plus, no one knew who I was. I was in New York running around like a student with a camera, and I was in my glory. I absolutely loved it. It's good times.
That's what I always say to people who don't know that. I'm like, that's fucking sick though. When you say you've done a film course, you went to New York and did it, they're like, oh.
Yeah,
it makes
cool.
sense. It's not just like, oh, hi, I've been in a boy band, I want to write a film now and I'm going to be a producer.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
They don't
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
once you do your backstory, they're like, oh, right, so he has been doing that.
Yeah.
You just don't know about
Yeah,
it.
no, I loved it.
So
it was fucking sick.
Relevant.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that. That was good. I forgot. I forgot.
You've gone to somewhere
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
actually
yeah.
studied some of this shit.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh,
No, it's true.
I'm rich and famous, I'm going to
Make a
pay my
movie.
way in.
No,
You're
I
not
did a
paying your
proper.
way
I got an
in.
A for that course.
And you've put in all the hard work you've done.
Yeah.
You've been doing all your...
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing your work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Your homework.
yeah.
Studied
Took the
it.
time.
Yeah, you've taken
Put the time to do
so
it.
Now you've got 30
But I loved it. I loved doing that. I loved that time in my life. That was, and I got time to cut out of being famous and being in a band, and it was so hectic at that time. I remember going from playing Party in the Park with Blue and jumping back on a plane to go back, because we had like a break in between it. I had to come back, and I couldn't wait to get back out and do my course, because I had to take a couple of days out because I had to do this gig, which is great. 'Cause, you know, I've said like, I had to do a gig at Party in the Park. Oh, what a shame! You know, it was fantastic. It was a great time, but you know, I just couldn't wait to get back out to New York and get back filming again. And I just felt like I was alive. I felt like I was running around the streets of New York with a camera, and I had this little team with us, and they were all aspiring directors and producers and wanted to get into movies and stuff, and we were all talking the same kind of language, but they had no preconceptions of who I was or even knew who I was. And I didn't want to tell them what I'd done, because I didn't think it was relevant. I wanted to be on equal merit. Oh, who's this dude? There's a lot of dogs around here. He's got a ball. Hello, here's a ball.
So, have any of your songs inspired you to write films or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've done with film stuff, and I think I've learned over the years, is because I'd always write treatments, and I've always shot my own videos. So I did, I think one of the first ones I did was Breathe Easy for Blue, and I went and wrote the treatment, and I co-directed that. And because I wrote the song as well, but I co-directed that video, and I wrote the treatment for it. And then I also did How Do I, which was another video, which I put into doing myself. So I kind of started with, like a lot of directors and producers start, by doing promos for videos, for pop videos, and that's kind of what I started with. I don't think many people know that I actually directed a lot of my own kind of videos and produced a lot of my own videos, and I continue to do that today because I enjoy it. You know, doing like, what I love about videos is you can do little short, little creative bursts of you know, fun. You know, you can go crazy with a video, and it's like shooting a little short video but very abstract. You don't have to always follow a plot line, but it's definitely something I think I'll always do. I love doing videos.